Pop Warner football you were watching as we welcome you back to Fox NFL Sunday. The Cincinnati Bengals have just one win this season, and they have been far and away the NFL's worst franchise over the last 12 years. Well, our own Chris Collinsworth is not going to take it anymore. As you recall, Chris went to 2 Super Bowls with the Bengals during their glory years, and this week he apparently used some of Jimmy Johnson's money to buy his former team. Chris joins us now, and as new owner of the Bengals, Chris, I'm anxious to hear what you're going to do.
Well, JB, I think you'll remember a few years back when, Howie was so busy doing commercials and movies that he really didn't have much time for football, so he'd ask me what he should say on the show. And well, lo and behold, that was the year that Howie won his Emmy, and he was so grateful to me for all that I had done for him. He said, Chris, someday I'm going to buy the Cincinnati Bengals for you. And should he ever fulfill that commitment, this is how I'm going to save America's team.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
That place used to rock. The main problem today with the Bengals is that no one in the NFL thinks this organization is serious about winning. Potential free agents only come to Cincinnati to gain leverage for another deal.
It's the type of team you put your foot right on their throat and don't let up.
To change that impression, the most important thing I have to do is hire a head coach who will silence all the doubters. Then there'll be no question about the Bengals' commitment to win. Here's my dream team of coaching candidates.
How about them Cowboys?
Jim Johnson now sits in my chair in the studio, but I will not slide the seat out from under him as the Bengals coach. He wants to be the coach, GM, whatever. It's fine with me. You can even yell at the owner if you want to. Just win. They say if I hire Bill Parcells, he'll jump ship in 3 years. Who cares? They'll have turned around my franchise and made us into winners by then. Denny Green coached the Vikings for 10 years. They made the playoffs 8 times. That's 8 more times than the Bengals made it during that same span. This man has an eye for talent. There's whispers in the Bay Area that Steve Mariucci doesn't have the confidence of the 49ers front office. I'll say it out loud right here and now. Mooch, you're from the Midwest. Come home. I'll even give up a number 1 pick. I know what you're thinking. All those coaches are sitting out there laughing at me right now. But the more zeros I add to the end of their paycheck, the less they're going to be laughing. As an owner, you'll never see me on the sidelines or up in that luxury box. I'll be in the stands with the fans. There's been way too many empty seats in Paul Brown Stadium this year, so I'm going to lower ticket prices, just like Falcons owner Arthur Blank did. And now his season is sold out. Also, since our stadium is publicly financed, I'm going to set aside 1,000 seats for students with good report cards. That just feels good. And if I can energize the fans, they're going to help energize my team.
Happy to be a Bengal for another week.
And my players are going to have my support. I'm not going to give up on John Kitna. He's the team MVP. He can get the job done just like Jay Fiedler in Miami or Brad Johnson in Tampa. And we're not going to use our number 1 pick on Carson Palmer or any other quarterback. I know this guy's good, but I don't want to waste any more time or money waiting on another rookie quarterback to develop. We're going to trade down for extra draft picks to shore up our secondary. We haven't had a good cornerback in Cincinnati in over a decade. And with so many teams finding success in the late rounds or even out of the draft, I'll pay for more full-time scouts and no longer rely on assistant coaches to be the primary personnel experts. The Bengals are going to be $10 million under the cap next year, and Commissioner, if you have to fine me for tampering, go ahead. But here are the free agents I'm going to sign. I'm going to bring Hugh Douglas to Cincinnati. I'm going to overpay him because he's the type of leader that other players respect, and I'll get more free agents. Remember when the Packers signed Reggie White? He changed the other players' perceptions of the Green Bay organization. Hey, and how about former Buckeye David Boston? He's a free agent. Time to bring him home, too. I know this guy has some baggage, but so did Terrell Owens. Boston's going to be my T.O. I'll even buy him a Sharpie. Yes, sir, I can see it now. Up on that stage with Terry Bradshaw and the commission accepting the Lombardi Trophy, I put my arm around my new head coach and hear those immortal words.
How about them Bengals?
All right, Jimmy Johnson, do you have the guts? Anybody could turn around the Dallas Cowboys, but you come to Cincinnati, you will be the greatest football coach of all time. Will you accept accept the challenge.
I pass.
Look at you passed on. Speaking of which, well, I don't have a cat and a cow story like Terry Bradshaw, having come from corporate America. Make no mistake about it. Changing a culture of success starts from the top.
Great job, Chris.
Hey, JB, Chris did a nice job. And as he said in that piece, Cincinnati, they need to spend some money. True story, years ago, we were down at the Senior Bowl, kind of like the convention for coaches and the NFL people, and you go down there to the Senior Bowl, and we were riding around, rented these big caddies and big Lincolns, and we were riding around, and all the owners had the big limos and stuff. And we pulled out of one of the practices, we pulled up, and we saw this little old car in front of us, kind of like the little car that's in the circus where all the people get out of it.
Clowns.
One of them little compact cars. There's Mike Brown, the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals, driving this little car with his coaching staff and everything else. They were all crowded up in this little economy car. They need to spend some money if they're going to win ball games.
The only thing I can equate to this championship thing is when I went to Pittsburgh, they had done a great job of drafting Joe Green, myself, Mel Blount, Mike Wagner, and so on and so forth. And the fact is, I do believe that they need to spend money. Chuck Noll got to learn how to fly a plane so he could go out and listen to his scouting department say, this player, this player. He went over, he looked at Jack Lambert. Nobody knew about Jack Lambert. And they made all these draft choices, a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth rounder. The Steelers, all those Hall of Famers, all those great teams came from those rounds. And that's because of their scouting department. I think that's one of the things the Steelers have, and that was the thing that made us the difference, JB.
Eddie DeBartolo did it quite nicely in San Francisco as well. All right, folks, from bad franchises to a team that needs a win real bad, the New York Giants. Coming up, we'll head over to Fox Field to see how Indianapolis plans on stopping Pro Bowl defensive end Michael Strahan. Meanwhile, the Colts were down 16-0 at halftime last Sunday, but came storming back to win. They can thank the coach, who definitely kept his cool.
There's a difference between being nice and being tough, and I think you can be both. And I think people have a false perception that if things aren't going right, it's because guys aren't trying. And the only way to get guys to try is to yell at them or shake them up emotionally.